Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming. It is a pleasure to be here. Thanks again, Mobile Museum of Arts. I would not have been here if it were not for the support that I have received from my family who are in the back, and I'll ask them to stand, my daughter-in-law, and my son. Without them, I could not be in this position. When I received the call from Fort Wadsworth in New York, I was told, now, Yvonne, you have to go to Mobile. Are you going to go to Mobile? I said, Mobile? Where in the world is Mobile? People up north can't pronounce words. But I said, spell that word, and they finally spelled it. And I said, that's Mobile. She said, well, we said up here Mobile. But after talking with her for a little while, I understood what she was saying. She did say, they want you to come to Mobile. I said, me to Mobile to see my work? He said, yes, they're interested in the Negro Baseball League quilt. I said, oh, well, that's self-explanatory. But they wanted to hear about it. I started in 1979 out of a need to do something and to make something. I had no training, and I used whatever was there in the house, sheets, pillowcases, my children's clothes, socks, and I got to the place, I got one pair of my son's underwear. Is he in here? Did you hear that? I wanted him to hear that, but it wasn't anything that I wouldn't use if it told my story. I speak from the head, I speak from the heart, and I speak from my hand. If my head can see it, my heart feels it, and my hand can create it. That's who you're looking at now. I have no training at all, none whatsoever. I just did it because I thought I could. I'm a kind of person who, if somebody say you can't, I say I can. I didn't listen to anyone. I just continued to move forward in those early years. However, since time has passed, I'm listening to people now because they have put me so high, and I never thought I'd reach this plateau. When I started in 1979, I was trying to make quilts like the other true quilters do, and it never came out that way. There would always be a little bit off balance, or crooked, wrong color, so they say, but it favored me. It looked like me because I'm off balance and a little of that as well. I'm all about myself when I do my work, not about anybody else. Somebody told me I'm a little bit sticky. I said, that's okay, that's me, but this is my work. In 1985, after making a picture quilt, which was on the floor, and I worked from the floor, and I still do, but not as much as I once did because age has somehow caught up with me. And I made the first quilt. It was the crucifixion. It was done on the floor, right at the door, with the dog next to me in the utility room. It turned out to be such a marvelous piece. I said, this is the kind of work I think I can do. And from there, I continued to move forward on to things like the crucifixion, like the bird houses, the dog houses. And then I got so involved in the civil rights movement pieces. However, I was not one of those foot soldiers. I was one in the background who helped push. If it were my students, I would talk to them about what they were doing out there in the streets. So I started making these civil rights quilts and did very well with them, I thought. But a lot of people were not understanding that. And every time there was an exhibition of my work, they wanted me to come so that I could explain to them what all of that stuff meant. And it was called stuff. It was called junk. It was called nothing. You don't know how to quilt. When the people came by my booth at Kentucky, I don't know if you know of Kentucky Art Festival, people would come with their hands folded. and come to my booth and say, what happened over here? Something has happened. I said, what are you talking about? This is not quilting. I said, well, what is it? They couldn't tell me what it was, but I told them, I said, it's quilted to me. And that was all that mattered. She said, why don't you go to work, to school, and learn how to sew? So I'm sewing now, my way. And that's all that matters. And I think I've gotten this far because I didn't try to satisfy anybody but me. And it's a good way for me to do. But by the time I got out to Kentucky and I got the best of show for the first time showing, I didn't understand that. So I came back to my agent and I said, Robert Cargo, something has happened wrong. He said, what happened? I said, I got best of show out of all of those people. And he said, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. From there, it went on and on and on and on. But when I started making, I would always make 3 of a kind. I have 3 baseball quilts. However, it does not say Negro baseball. It says a Babe Ruth and another baseball quilt without a title. I would make 3 of a kind. I would make 3 of this. I would make 3 of that. Make 3 of everything. Because the first one I made didn't satisfy me. I didn't say everything I wanted it to say then. I made another one. I said, something is missing on this one, so I made another one. And the last time it was right. So that's how the 3 came in. So after making 3, I started, it looked like as fire would burn fast, my hands were doing the same things. I was working on 5 at a time. Now I'm not doing 5 at a time because circumstances have changed. And I've gotten older and I can't get on the floor like I once did, but I still do. Things have really changed, but I'm doing 2 now at a time. I'm in the process of working on now the civil rights quilt. But there couldn't be anything any better than what I'm doing. It was much more relaxed. It was much more fun, and I found out that I truly was not a quilter. I'm an artist. I said, really? I didn't know that. I didn't care what people said. I was satisfying Yvonne Wells. Somebody said, don't say that all the time, but that's who I am. You can't take what I do and give me another name. Let me say it, and you accept it or reject it. But most of the time, I haven't had any rejection, and I'm surprised at that. This quilt that is hanging here, it's a lovely piece. However, you know, when I put colors together, people would say, gosh, that's a strange color that goes. All colors fit. All colors fit. I'm a person of color, and my quilts are too. So you may see a green with an orange. That matches. You may see 2 greens and a brown. But I have many reasons why I do not use things that, quote, match. Because they speak to me. My quilts talk to me. Has anybody said to you quilters out there, my quilts talk to me? Or you can put them on the bed? One man said, I'd rather not have them put on the bed because you may not know what they may say. You're sleeping on the bed, so they may say something that you don't want to hear. But you can tell from how I'm speaking that it is fun. If this were not fun, I wouldn't do it. I didn't make these for money. I did not, but like I said, things have changed and the trajectory has changed as well. If you have seen this quilt and have looked closely at it, it's a baseball diamond. I was a coach in high school, but it's a baseball diamond. And you see 9 men on a team. You got the catcher, first baseman, pitcher, third baseman, shortstop, second base, first base, center field, and right fielder. Those are the people you need to play a regular baseball game. And the person standing up there with the red suit on is Jackie Robinson. He's in the batter's box waiting to go and bat. There are people sitting on the bench at the field. They all are black with the exception of one little white child. This white child is being cared for, a black lady. She had to bring him along with her so that she could see the game. And since she was taking care of him, she brought him along as well. However, look to the left up top, behind that tree. What color faces are those looking from around there? They're white, making sure that this lady's taking care of their child, but they didn't have the strength to come out and just be among the other groups of people. But that was the time then. Things have changed some now. On top of that, you will see the umpire. The umpire is in the gray. And I put a baseball in every person's hand, up there, every player's hand, so that each person would have a chance to warm up on their very own. And if the ball was hit out of the field, I believe that little boy down there that's climbing up on the fence like a rough little boy does, going to catch the ball and use it as a souvenir. At the bottom, at the flagpole, there are 3 people coming in. They're sneaking into the game and waving as they went across. But this is a fun piece. It may say all baseball, but it may not. But to me, it does. Kentuck would come once a year, and I would make quilts from October to October. And I would take what I had made up to him and look at it. And I lay all of those 12, sometimes I make 12 a year, because I'm sewing like crazy and enjoying every minute. So he said, some of my work, she said, Yvonne, this doesn't look like star quality. I said, what do you mean? She said, some pieces does not shine like the other pieces does, but they still as good. It's me. But there are pieces like the Elvis Presley, which was the piece I held up in his office and said, look, Robert, I did it. And he said, get down, Yvonne, don't stand on my table. Folks would think you're crazy. I said, well, they do that anyway. Yes, but it has been a lovely journey and a wonderful journey for which I am still working and trying to put something down so that other people can see and learn from what I have done and what I have left behind. I'm hoping that my children and my family will continue this legacy of showing and telling, because there are many stories that are told in different forms, and mine is in the quilt. According to what is a quilt on the wall over there, I just had to look at that a long time because that didn't seem to fit me at all. That's a quilt. That's how they make a quilt. They say it's a sandwich. Sometimes mine doesn't even look like a sandwich. It looks like something else. But the finished product tells the story. The finished product does. There's so many other things I could tell you, but I want to give you the opportunity to ask, and I may answer that question. Just raise your hand, everybody, and just blow me away.
How long does it take you to make a quilt like that?
No, it depends what is happening in the house or what other business I had to do because I was teaching. But a quilt like that would take me about a month to do, because I won't turn it loose until I'm almost done. I'm the kind of person who would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and work. Once I got up from the bed, my husband said, Vaughn, now, where are you going at this time of morning? I said, I see something, I got to go put it down. So I'm up at any time, and I can't give you a definite month of the year that I do them in, because they vary in time and that kind of thing. If I can't find what I'm looking for, I'm walking the streets and I'm driving around slow looking what people have thrown away, picking stuff up off the ground. Don't have to do that. I could buy all of this stuff, but it has more meaning to me when it's something I found and refinished and put it in a story and it's telling exactly what I wanted to say. Yes.
How big are your quilts?
How big are they? You know, they're all different sizes. I can't say king size, queen size, or regular size. They're very in number and sizes. And someone asked, is this the largest? No, not by any means. Is this the largest piece that I've done? I've done one 21 feet long and 3 feet wide. So that's the kind of craziness that I do. Yeah. Yes.
So you created this art piece, this particular one between the 70s and 80s, correct?
I think it's 1987 that I did this piece. 1984.
Do you feel like this quilt art has aged better than it was when you made it, or has it kind of stayed the same?
It has not changed at all, as far as I can see. Everything seems to be in place. I don't think it has been very well stored. There are not creases in it, and I see no tears or marks or anything. It's exactly the same, which I'm always surprised because some museums or some places that I show, they have little snags on them or tags or little marks on them. And that's kind of heartbreaking to me because I didn't do that. But basically, this is the way it was when I finished it. Yes.
Welcome to Mobile, Ms. Wells.
Thank you.
I'm a 2011 graduate of Stillman College as well. I wanted to ask you, are there any experiences that you pull from your time on campus? Are there any situations or experiences that might influence your work?
I'm sure it is just by being on the campus and being in the small college, black college. There are things you're always thinking about that you make and put down in a quilt and bring it back and show it to the school, of which I have done on many occasions. But as far as pulling something from the campus, it's all pulled from someplace. And because I was on campus, I saw so many things that I introduced into my quilts that make it very much a part of what I had seen in college. If that makes any sense to you. Everywhere I go, like this room now, I see all of you and the beautiful faces. I go home and I make that. I see that smile. I see someone putting on a mask. I see all of that. I go home, wherever I am, and see something that can go into a quilt. Yes.
I guess kind of going off that, is it going from what you're seeing in your mind directly to the fabric, or do you do any like sketching or drawing?
No, I do not draw, I do not sketch, I do not do anything. I see it, put it on the floor, get the scissors and cut. That's it. Yes.
I just want to make an observation. I too was still a college graduate in 1994. This reminds me, being from Tuscaloosa, this reminds me of the softball in the summer at the field behind Druid High School. And sometimes we keep with us on the bench watching the game and the players running around the field. This kind of brings a little home to me.
It does.
The people coming over the fence, kids over the fence.
As a matter of fact, when the civil rights movement was on, I was in that same field teaching students, those students who didn't want to walk in the protest, they stayed at school. And I stayed at school and I taught what they were going to do. So, as I said before, I was not a foot soldier, but I was a mouthpiece for those who were back.
I was a foot soldier.
Yes.
I've had a couple people ask about, there's 3 teeny tiny little black triangles and what the meaning of those are.
These 3 little people here.
Not the people, there's,
Oh, yeah. Okay, those down the bottom. In my pieces of work, there are 3 or usually no more than 3. A little sign that looks like this. That's Trinity, about the Son, got the Holy Ghost. That is in every piece that I make. If it's not in there, when I put the last stitch in, it doesn't feel right because something is missing. That will always be in whatever I make. 3 does not mean anything in there, but it does mean 1, 2, 3, Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. That's to be something else because I hear some strange things out there at work about what I have done. I may not have asked if my children have any comments to say about your amazing mama saying. Because they have helped, tremendously. Yes.
Are those 3 birds packing in a ball?
Yeah, sometimes birds get loose at different venues, and this was outside, and of course, the ball went over. And these birds, I call them chickens, and that's a bird. And a ball came over, and they were picking at the ball trying to figure out what it was. Yeah.
Well, I have a question about the placement or the position that some of the players are in. Was there any significance to that? Like the shortstop looks like he's on the ground.
He was trying to catch a ball. That's what he was trying to do. He's sitting out there, his hat came off. Did you see the hat on the ground? He missed his ball of all the people. But each one was doing something in their position. He's a shortstop. And everybody's in their right position, like I said. And he was the one who was practicing how to catch the ball that's coming out.
I was wondering maybe one of your sons was the model for that particular.
Oh no, my children became model because I can't make them. They too pretty. I don't do pretty stuff. I do funny stuff, and I think my children just would not fit in there. However, I can make something and say that's them, but it doesn't look like them. I saw another hand. Yes.
I'm interested in your hours. How late at night did you work on the quilt?
I would sleep. I didn't very much, but I would stay up to about 12 and 1, and then I'd go to sleep for 2 hours, and I'm thinking while I'm sleeping, and I would get up, and I would have to go back to the game room and upstairs and get stuff and start to work. I wouldn't wake up anybody. I wouldn't bother anybody, not even the dog, and just work because it felt good. I never missed a day of work. Unless I was sick, and I wasn't very sick much. So that lets you know that I was doing this all the time. And then I did a lot of volunteer work for the community. Yeah. Yes.
Is the mother in the stands holding a baby?
Is the mother holding her baby or staying with the baby?
Yeah, does she have a baby in her arms?
Yes, one does. One does. From here, it's one black lady has a black baby, and one black lady has a white child because it's pink. I'm saying white. That's how that was. Because at that time, they were keeping children for the people for whom they work, and they had to bring them along with them if they wanted to go out and see something like a baseball game. Yes.
I imagine you're very proud of all your work, but is there a quilt that's your favorite?
I'm so very proud of every piece that I make. As a matter of fact, every piece that I make, there's nothing wrong with it. However, there may be something in one or two or all of them that stands out just a little bit more than the other. But it's not my favorite, it's just because it stands there. All of them are my favorites. So that's me. That's who I am. I don't know if you know the poem by William Henley, Invictus. Have you heard that? If you know it, say it along with me. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced or cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is blooded, but it's never unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade. And yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate or how charged with punishment the scroll. I'm the master of my faith. I'm the captain of my soul. Thank you.